Good evening. I call to order the April 7th City of Clermont Planning and Zoning Commission to order at 6:30 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Tidona?
Present.
Commissioner May?
Here.
Commissioner Insua?
Here.
Commissioner
Anemic.
just I'm sorry.
Present.
Nemec. Commissioner Colby?
Here.
Commissioner Kramer?
Here.
Commissioner Hoisington?
Here.
Thank you. Sorry.
I'm used to it.
Thank you. Please stand as you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll remind all the commissioners to please turn on your microphone before speaking this evening. When anyone from the audience comes up to the lectern, we often call it a podium, but that's actually a lectern that we have here in the front of the room. If anyone comes up to the lectern to speak, the mic should already be on. Please speak clearly so the rest of the people in attendance can hear, and it can also be heard online. We are broadcasting this on the city's YouTube channel, which you can find it at City of Clermont. So please check that out. Commissioners should have received the minutes from the March 3rd meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion and a second for approval.
I'll send a motion to approve the March 3rd, 2026 minutes.
So motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, approved unanimously. All right, it's now time for commissioner reports. I would let the commissioners know that we do have to disclose this evening if you've had any communication, any site visits, any ex parte communications with anyone regarding any of the matters that are in front of us. But for reports, I will start with Commissioner Hoisington.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to report that I attended the city council meetings last month, and there was some discussion at the meeting toward the end, and it was also discussed by two of our commissioners regarding whether to look at a magistrate to start, I guess, overseeing planning and zoning. And there's been some discussion, I want to go ahead and say, street committee talk about the demeanor of this commission. And I personally take offense to that. I do not like being associated with a commission, with an organization that does not promote harmony, agreement, that it's okay for us to disagree, because we all have the right to our opinions and we all have our truth in what we believe. But when we make a decision and we vote on something that is presented to us by staff and by the applicant, that decision should stand as one decision from this commission. And it's a recommendation that goes to the council, that we should not take it personal, that we should conduct ourselves in the utmost professional manner at all times. And I just wanted to put that out because I felt some uneasiness within myself, listening to the comments and the possibilities of this commission being dissolved and not allowing we, the people, to be a part of the process. And I hope that all of us moving forward can understand that we each have our right to our opinion, that we review the information that is presented to us. If we have questions, we refer to staff who are our subject matter experts, and then we make the decision based on what is presented for us, not the what ifs or it could be. but only the information that's presented before us. And I'm going to get off my soapbox and leave it right there.
All right. Thank you for your report. Commissioner Kramer.
Good evening. I also want to briefly address something that's been discussed recently regarding this board, and that's been the suggestion that the Planning and Zoning Commission may be a part of the problem in how Clermont's being perceived. I see it differently. I believe this board is part of the solution. We're here to ask questions, to apply the code consistently, and to make sure decisions are thoughtful and defensible. That's our job, and we should take it seriously. But how we do that matters. The tone we set with applicants reflects directly on this city. We can ask the tough questions. We should ask those tough questions. But they need to be professional and constructive, not confrontational or dismissive. We've all had the training, and with that comes a level of expectation. If we want people to have confidence in this process, we need to hold ourselves and each other to the very standard every time, a very high standard every time we sit up on this dais. And I'm committed to do that, and I believe we all should be. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Nemec.
No reports.
Commissioner Ansua.
I just want to say I hope that everybody had a happy Easter. And other than that, no report.
Commissioner May.
Thank you, and I don't have to repeat in regards to Commissioner Paula and Kramer. I do agree with what you said, and I also spoke against the special magistrate. So I won't add on to what you all said, because I do agree. I do want to say that I did attend the council meeting, and I also wanted to let you all know that we have several new businesses coming to Clermont. I'm very excited about that. I just wanted to point it out. Kingdom Sushi is coming, and Cava supposedly is coming. So more businesses are coming to Clermont, which is a positive sign for our city. I also want to provide some kudos to Main Street and the city in working together in a public-private partnership. They started the phase 1 of their plantings on Montrose, and I don't know if anybody has had a chance to see it, but I think it's exciting things. Exciting things are happening in our downtown, and I just wanted to make sure that Main Street and the city did get the kudos from myself and probably from the community, and looking forward to phase 2. I think there's really incredible things, and I'm happy to see that they're working together as a partnership for the success for our city. But other than that, I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Tadona,
Mr. Chair, could I pass out my
please.
copies and stuff? Real quick, I'll try to do this as quick as possible. So periodically, I will go onto the Florida crash dashboard. These numbers are from January 1st to March 19th. So far in Lake County, 2 bicycle fatalities, 2 motorcycle fatalities, and 1 pedestrian fatality. So that's 5 folks that lost their lives on streets. So I brought up last year, hopefully, that there were some solutions in terms of bike lanes and different things that the city and the county could do to help protect folks that are either on bicycles, motorcycles, or walking. The second page is a proposal that is going through the motions in New York City. So what you're looking at is a rendition of any major street, whether it be Madison Avenue, Park Avenue, Fifth Avenue. It's known as Operation Open Streets. And what Open Streets is proposing is to take advantage of New York City's walkability by extending sidewalks, cutting down a little bit of the traffic, and those green things that you see lining the street, those are called trees. So They're going to be planting a lot of trees if this proposal goes off. New York City is probably an excellent representative of a mixed-use area with shops on the first floor, businesses second and third floor usually, and then above that are apartments. Again, whether it happens or not, it's just interesting for me to see that New York City is actually trying to grasp onto some of the strong towns tech. One could only imagine how wonderful or beneficial something like that could be to the city of Clermont. The last thing that you have, it looks like the governor signed House Bill 399 into state law. The article you have is from Florida Politics. There's another site, News 4 in Jacksonville, did a summary on it. I'll read it real quick. The new law focuses on denials tied to compatibility. In simple terms, it makes it harder for local governments to say no to some housing proposals just because they just don't fit. If leaders want to deny a project for compatibility, they must point to specific rules and explain exactly what does not match. The law also says general claims like community character, neighborhood feel, or similar broad language by themselves are not enough to support a denial. The bill also addresses situations where an applicant offers changes to try to resolve concerns. If a developer proposes mitigation measures, the local government generally cannot deny the application on compatibility grounds unless it explains in writing why the proposed mitigation is inadequate and why feasibility mitigation does not exist. So while I would agree with my fellow committee members that part of our job is to be a certain line of defense to protect Clermont, to encourage development in business, while I would agree that there's definitely a certain level of professionalism that needs to be exhibited on this dais, it also looks like the state is taking away a whole lot of our ability to negotiate with developers. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a naysayer or a doomsayer, but the way this is starting to look, counties and cities might not need a planning and zoning department. They might not need a planning zoning committee, and maybe one guy or a gal or a magistrate, is what we're leading into. So let's do the best we can. But there's a lot of forces outside of this room that are actually working against us, no matter how diverse and how respectful we are to each other and to the public. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. I also wanted to congratulate Clermont Main Street for the planting of Florida native trees. Just a great effort going on there. And I wanted to thank and congratulate the city on what they do to support and promote the different festivals that we have. The Pig on the Pond was a great event, brought a lot of people downtown, and we couldn't have all of these things without the strong support of the city. So I just want to thank them for that. And the last item I want to address is our next meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 5th. Which happens to be my 25th wedding anniversary. So I've been told that it might not be in my best interest to be here on that day. Myself as well as my vice chair are both unavailable on May 5th. So I just wanted to ask council what is the best way for us to choose a chair for that meeting?
There's no necessarily best way. I think what I'd recommend is that you establish tonight where you have a full commission as to who you'd want as your backup to be, instead of us having to decide it at that meeting with the members who are there.
Okay. You have a suggestion, Vinny?
Yes, I would like to go with seniority and ask Commissioner Insua if he wouldn't mind, since he's been on the planning and zoning and also on the city council.
Is that something that you would accept?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Do we need to vote on that, or is consensus?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to have Commissioner Insua chair the May 5th meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Since it's my suggestion, I'll set the first motion to have it.
And I'll second it.
Insua be the chair temporarily while we're both in Italy, and we will not be committing the Sunshine Law there. He'll be in one part, and I'll be in the other part.
All right, so we have a motion to have Commissioner
And I'll
Nsua. We have a
Second.
second from Commissioner Kramer. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that is unanimous. All right, we will move into the new business. And item 1, we will have a presentation from the city.
Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commissioners and guests. Justine Day with Development Services, presenting agenda item number 1. So the applicant, Michael Latham with Gator Sketch, is requesting to amend the and replace resolution number 760 to expand their existing church use to parcels designated with the R3 Residential Professional Zoning District. The properties, as shown on the map highlighted in yellow, are located east of the Bloxham Avenue and East Montrose Street intersection and is approximately 0.93 acres. So as you can see on the larger map that was given to you guys within the supplemental packet, their original parcel is that SPA3, and then the 2 parcels that they would be improving would be SPA1 and SPA2. And just a better view zoomed in. The church located on 709 East Montrose Street, designated on the map as Area 3, is proposing to expand their use to construct a new 2,250 square foot building on 743 East Montrose Street, depicted on the map as Area 1. The existing building located on Area 1 has a legal non-conforming church use that has been operating in conjunction with the church since 1992, based on the information provided on Lake County Property Appraiser's website. The proposed expansion is being requested so that the church may be able to accommodate their anticipated growth. And just to show you what that would look like. So up on the east side, that's the existing building, and then their new building that they're proposing is going to be on the south side. The new sanctuary would provide approximately 130 seats and allow the church to separate its uses between buildings. The current sanctuary would be repurposed for Sunday school use, while 709 East Montrose Street would support ancillary functions and provide for overflow parking when needed. The applicant is requesting 3 waivers along with their request to redevelop the church in a way to make use of their size-constrained parcels. The first would be to allow for off-site parking within a parcel outside of the Central Business Zoning District as required by Land Development Code Section 115-17. This will allow the church to utilize all 3 sites to accommodate for the minimum parking requirements. Parking spaces would be placed mainly on the vacant parcel north of 743 East Montrose Street, designated as Area 2 on the map, while 709 and 743 East Montrose Street would provide 7 stalls on each site. So just to show you, this is going to be the parcel to the north, the vacant parcel. So they are proposing 24 spaces to that north side. And then the existing parcel on that corner with the existing church already has 7 spots that they would be used for overflow parking. The second and third waivers are requests to allow for a reduction to the minimum landscape requirements per Land Development Code Section 12343D. The applicant is proposing to reduce the landscape buffer width from 10 feet to 5 feet, as well as a reduction to the minimum amount of plantings for the perimeter buffers. Both areas in which the reduction would occur would be along the side and rear property lines for 743 East Montrose Street and the vacant parcel to the north. This would allow the applicant to improve the site while still complying with the applicable Land Development Code requirements such as parking, stormwater, and accessibility, while still providing screening between the abutting properties. And just to show you guys again, the reduction would be on the north property, north vacant property on the west north and east property lines. And then on 743 East Montrose Street, where that new building is going, again, on the east and west property lines. And on that south one, and in place would be that fence. Staff has reviewed the application and finds that the use would not be more obnoxious to the district due to the properties not having any substantial code complaints made since the church has been in operation. The proposed expansion of the use does not appear to be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding community, and the city's comprehensive plan supports public facilities and/or institutional land uses such as churches within residential land uses pending approval of a conditional use permit. The city has received one letter of opposition from the property located between 709 and 743 East Montrose Street. Since the letter has been received, the applicant and property owner has been in discussion regarding requested conditions to rescind the letter of opposition. While city staff has received the proposed conditions, the discussion has been handled privately and staff is unaware if a compromise has been reached. That should be within your supplemental packet, yes. And just to show you again, for that parcel that conditions came through, it would be the one right between SPA 3 and SPA 1. Staff has no evidence that the proposed use cannot meet the general criteria for granting a conditional use permit per Land Development Code Section 101-212 and recommends approval of the conditional use permit with the conditions contained in Resolution Number 2026-007R. This concludes staff presentation.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may I just ask a question? So when you indicated that there was a, quote, compromise, what, are you saying that the applicant is okay with the conditions that are laid out in the supplemental?
So in the supplemental packet, the letter of opposition, that person was saying that they would rescind their conditions as long as those conditions in that letter was approved.
I see, okay.
And they reached out to I believe the owner and the applicant regarding those conditions, but staff is unaware where that went.
Thank you.
All right. We'd like to hear from the applicant now.
Good evening. Michael Latham with Gator Sketch Architects, 1000 East Highway 50, Clermont. So I'm here to answer any questions you have. There is an elder here from the church as well as a number of members from the church.
Could you answer the question that just came up as far as these conditions?
It is my understanding from speaking with Bishop Forehand that he spoke to the individual in Texas twice and that they were going to rescind their issue with the property. And Mr. Forehand is out of the country right now, so I'm not sure where it landed. So I know that everyone was happy at the end of that conversation.
So there was a letter saying that it would be rescinded if conditions were met.
Right. So my understanding is, so if we place ourselves on the house, the property to the west, which is the commercial one, they didn't want a fence on that one. And we're okay with that. We never had intentions of putting a fence on that one. But there would still be a fence on the main one with the church building going. And that would be to act as a buffer in lieu of the plantings. So it was my understanding they were okay with that.
Okay, but it also says no reduction of easement.
So there is a electrical easement on both sides of the property, which is already there. And so we can't change that easement, but the landscape buffer will still be 5 feet on either side.
Okay.
Do you need to have him read what the conditions are for the record?
No, I
From
mean,
the-
it depends on what you want, you know, it's just a member of the public who was registering their position. It has no legal force, validity
Right.
at all, unless you want to consider it.
Yeah, no, the only question that I wanted to just verify, he asked for there no reduction of the easement from 10 feet to 5 feet. So there was no issue in regards to electrical. He just doesn't want it smaller. He wants to keep it as 10 feet and not, and,
And that is on the west property.
okay.
Yes, and we have no issue with that
Got
at
it.
all. On the property, I'm sorry, I can't see, but the one that the building is on is, thank you so much, Justin, which is SPA one. We're still going with the 5 feet there, and on the property north where the grass parking is. Their main concern was SPA three. And we acknowledge their comments there.
So these three are addressed for SPA 3,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will bring it to the commission, but, so you're done with your presentation? And I'm sure there'll be other questions, so you can stand by.
All right.
Now's the portion of the meeting for public hearing for Resolution 2026-007R. So if there are members of the audience who would like to speak, I'd ask you to please come up to the lectern at this time. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Robert Halley. I'm a senior deacon in Emmanuel Temple Church. I reside at Plum Lake Estates in Mineola. I just have a statement here. I've been in this area since 1981, and like the city, I've seen the enormous growth and the continued growth of the city. And like the city, I like to commend them for what they've done. You know, I was an employee of the city for 38 years, and matter of fact, when I came here, I called it Mayberry. You can see the difference in growth now. But I commend the city for what it's done. It's gone a long way and it's handled a tremendous growth, and I appreciate that. And like the city, the church is trying to accommodate the growth. Right now, we have approximately 100 members, and we're at capacity right now. We have children's church. We had to renovate to accommodate the children, but that's at capacity also. And we can't really have a double service because we share our building with a ministry, a Spanish ministry. So we're pretty filled up. Amen. You know. Let me see. Something else I want to say. So if there's any question probably about financing, we'll be able to do it. All our properties are paid for, and we currently have $55,000 in our budget right now. And what the pastor and all of us want to do, we'll get to 100,000, and then we'll leverage our properties to give us approximately 500,000 to do this work. So there won't be any lacking, you know. That should be able to finish the building, I believe. So I think that's all I needed to say, unless there's any more questions. I thank you for your consideration in this matter.
Thank you. Yes, it's still public comment. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on this issue?
Good evening. I'm Hattie McGriff. I am here representing my sister Denise Latner, who owns the property between the two parcels on the south side of Montrose. And just wanted to clarify the conditions that when we talked to Bishop beforehand, it was that, yes, we did not want the fence along the west side of the property, nor the decrease in the easement, nor hard surface parking. Those were the three conditions that we talked about and that he was amenable to.
We have a question, ma'am, for you.
Thank you for coming this evening, ma'am. I appreciate that, because I do have a question. When you said no fence, you're talking about, could you put?
No
Okay, it's
fence
up.
on the west side.
On the west side of the SP 1 or 3?
3.
They don't want it along
The east side of the property on SPA 3.
SP3,
Right,
on the east side, she means.
correct. On the west side of our property, east side of SPA 3.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, then that's really what I want to know, because that was the answer.
Correct.
You are aware if they have handicap parking, according to the ADD, it has to be concrete.
Well, that was the thing, because we don't want the house in the middle where family lives in, and Denise come and visit often. It's literally putting us at between two parking lots. We will literally be looking like we're sitting on a church parking lot, and that we would prefer not to do. So
Ma'am, I live
that's-
next to a church. I understand where you're
Yes.
going on this.
So
Okay.
that's why we're like, if no hard parking, then it'll still stay similar to what it is.
Okay, very good. My final question is real simple, and that's why you're the spokesperson for your sister. Does she live in Texas, or she's just visit? It's just, does she reside at this property, or are you
No,
renting
she
it?
visits there, so we have family that lives there.
Oh, family that lives there. Okay, I get it now. All right, you answered all
Family
my
that lives
questions.
there that attends the church, but
Okay, now you're making it complicated, all
don't
right?
make it complicated. We're no
just
fence, no hard
square
parking,
peg in a
surface
square
parking,
hole.
and we're good. All
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
right, thanks.
All right, is there anyone else who'd like to speak on this issue?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sheldrick Thomas. I've pretty much been in Clermont all my life, where with nothing but orange girls pretty much right behind us or whatnot. Before I left, joined the Marine Corps, what was it, 16 years ago? About 16 years ago. It wasn't that much traffic coming through East Macho Street, but now it's very high. It's very high. And one of my questions was, I know the church is planning on building and expanding and having more people come in, which means more traffic. Everybody on that street is pretty much elderly, including my mother. So I was wondering if what the council can do for like speed bumps or anything like that.
Not quite sure how to answer that. I think I'll defer to council on that.
Well, I mean, just as this is the public's opportunity to give you input on. I don't know that I can necessarily answer the question. There are options that the city has to address speed control and traffic control and that kind of thing. Whether or not it chooses to, I don't know. So that's kind of a remains to be seen type item.
Okay, because I got 4 young children, and even when I go visit my mother, I still live in Clermont. I live at 10942 Crescent Ridge Loop, kind of a log house road. But when we go visit her, it's just a hard time because everybody's doing 30 or 40 better going over there. I don't trust my kids. It wasn't like that the whole time, but now, everything since Clermont got bigger, the streets didn't though. And I was just wondering what can be done about that.
Council, I would ask that, and I think I'll bring it up once the board gets a chance to actually discuss. Whoever makes the motion in whatever direction we go, we should probably add in a recommendation of looking at something in terms of doing something on that road, whether it's a speed table or a bump or a sign or something like that. So I would just bring that forward for the record to let you know that we have acknowledged it. And I don't see that I can't see the applicant not wanting to be more safe on that street, especially with, exactly. So I'll just bring that up for the record and
I think it's a great idea, and then making it a part of if it is the way that the commission
Yes.
goes,
Right.
part of the recommendation of the council to assess that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer?
Answer my question. I appreciate it. I'll just be keeping up with it. Thank you.
Just to add to his comment, in the civil design, it is our intention to promote the city to allow us to stripe the city as a crosswalk there, and to put signs up, crossing. Now, obviously, the church is only there on Sundays and Wednesday nights, but at least we can participate to help with that.
I mean, that's one good thing. At least we're
we'll
just
bring it back
talking
to
about
council.
churchgoers for the most part. It could be worse. Right. So,
Are there any other comments? Anybody else want to come up? This will be the final call for public comment. All right, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission. We will start with you, Commissioner Tordona.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sunday and Wednesday night, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One service on Sunday, one service on Wednesday night?
So there is, on Wednesday, there is also a second service there. So they're there for about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Currently, you got 100 members, correct? 100 members?
I'm sorry?
100 members?
That's my understanding,
Okay.
yes, sir. And that's what the elder said.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, do we know how many people actually walk to the church?
I do not.
I don't have any,
Yeah.
we call it, excuse me.
You're fine.
As far as I even know, we have a church bus and everybody takes their own personal vehicle. So
Okay.
not aware of any walking.
Okay.
church.
Just curious, it being a neighborhood church. Stay right where you are, Pastor Aldo. The Spanish mission ministry happens after Mass on Sunday?
Yes, that's correct. And they also have a Friday night ministry.
Friday night. Okay. So, do we know how many members are there?
I can approximate 45.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. When I look at this, all right, 130 seats is what's planned, right?
Right.
Okay. So if I took 4 people per car, that's 33 cars.
Mhm.
That's not including clergy, wherever they live that they may be driving. That's not including maybe your technician who's going to air the mass. And that's not including maybe your security people. So just bear with me. So if I have 24 spots across the street and 7 at 709 and 743, 2 of which at 743 are handicap, I've got 38 parking spots, right? 7 plus 7, 24 is 38. You are just about there where you're full. Okay? No, knowing that you will fill those 130 seats, all right? But that means that's going to happen at least 4 times a week. That's going to happen Sunday, twice on Wednesday night, actually 2 on Sunday, and a Friday. We're going to have people coming and going.
Yeah, we say we're at capacity, but those services don't always, they.
Right, we're not always full.
Yeah.
Understood, I got you. Where is this bus going?
Currently, it's on SB1 right now. That's where we park it.
Do you want
Okay.
to know where it goes, like in the neighborhood?
Well,
Uh,
if, I'm assuming that bus is either going to make a route and pick up people and then drop them off, but we're not talking about a bus in the packet. So where is the bus being parked while Mass is happening?
It's at our pastor's house in Lakeland.
In Lakeland, okay. So it's actually out of sight, out of mind,
on
so it's
site.
time to come get them. Perfect, awesome. I'm just going to piggyback on some of the concerns for traffic,
Okay.
and I appreciate my fellow committee members saying that we'll put in that stipulation. Will there be any kind of traffic control when services are ending?
Oh, yes. Well, like the regular crossing guard, somebody that's,
Okay, so we will be directing traffic, and somebody who, with all due respect, because I did it, knows what they're doing, so if this gentleman and the neighbors want to come off the street, you're going to hold up the people in the parking lot, let people pass, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be it's got to be orderly at least 4 or 5 times, depending on how many masses or services are letting out.
I have MOT, DOT training on that,
Awesome. Okay,
traffic control.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner May?
Thank you for the questions, Commissioner Tordona. So, my question is to staff. Is a parking lot on a separate parcel considered a use? And do they apply for that use? Because we have 3 parcels. Two of them have uses. One has a use for a Sunday school and the services.
The services.
The
yes.
other one has an ancillary.
Yes.
And then the other one is going to be used for parking.
Yes.
So it's a separate parcel. So does that also, because it's just for parking, is that considered a use, and do you need a CUP or a variance for that?
This would be granting the use for that separate parcel without having that building on the parcel. And then I'm sorry, repeat the second question.
No, there wasn't a second. That's just, I just wanted to know if they had to apply for that, and that should be in the resolution as well. I mean, are the 3 parcel IDs in the resolution and for the CUP? Because I'm just, I understand the CUP for a church and a CUP for the ancillary, but I don't understand if there's, parking lot is a different use. And there has been cases where people build just parking lots without having it be
Gotcha.
part
So
of a
you're
building.
saying within the,
Sorry, I just want one comment. So in the code, that zoning of the SPA2 allows church uses without a CUP to begin with.
On the SPA2 or the SPA1?
2. I'm sorry? Oh,
It would
I'm
just
sorry,
be
it's number
It's 3, yeah.
3. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. SPA1 already has an existing
Yeah,
a structure,
C1,
and so
it's
does
C1
SPA.
at that location that allows church uses without council approval.
Right, I'm talking about SPA2. That's just parking by itself.
That was part of the,
yeah, she's mentioning that it should have been notated in the resolution and the legal ad that we were also requesting parking alongside
Just separately.
church use.
It's separate, because it's 3 different parcels. They're not connected. It's 3 different elk keys. So I don't know if you need us,
Advertised it as.
but maybe that's a
Could we have
question.
staff, I'm sorry, could we have staff come to the microphone and just make sure that, so everyone can hear? Thanks.
Sorry, so she's mentioning that within the resolution and the legal ad, it should have been notated that it would be church and parking use. But the parking, and I am not sure of this, so I might defer to Kurt for this one, but I believe that would be part of the church ancillary uses,
yes, it would be.
which
So
is why we left it like
So
that.
I'll, since you're real estate law, since it's 3 parcels, 3 different alt keys, do you need a CUP for all 3? Because sometimes you have a parcel that doesn't have a building, but you can build parking on it and use it as a business and rent out parking. So I don't know, do you need a CUP as well for that particular parcel, because it's a separate alt key, it's not connected to, it's across the street? Do you need a CUP as well? And should that also be a condition? And I'm sorry, not a condition, well, I guess a condition under number 2 as a separate CUP.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm following. So are you asking whether or not the CUP we have under consideration tonight encompasses all 3 parcels?
Correct.
That's a good question, I guess. Let me just see. I'm looking at the CUP language.
Because when I looked at it, there really wasn't any CUP uses that pertain to parking lot.
I think everything is pretty well covered under the proposed CUP. It would run with the land and all 3 parcels. I do see I see parking described in the CUP language, so I guess I'm trying to figure out what the issue is.
Right, no, I was just wondering that if you need a CUP for separate, if
Oh,
that
for
parcel,
each-
yes, for each one,
for
because
each
if that
one.
parcel was by itself,
I see what you're saying. No,
if that
we don't.
parcel,
No, we
okay,
don't.
so we don't have to say church use, ancillary uses, and buildings used in conjunction with the church under 2C parking lot.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's not necessary. You can write it how you
Well,
wish.
the only reason why is that if in the future, and I know they're not going to sell it, but in the future, then that use, they decide they want to sell that land and it's only parking, then that is a separate
No.
parcel, it's a
Yeah.
separate CUP, that's the only reason, because that could happen. I mean,
Oh,
they could.
I mean, we've had this issue with another property recently, so,
The legal ad does encompass all of them as well.
yeah, and I mean, so I think, Commissioner, to your point, this does sometimes happen, but it's a problem for them, not for us. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So-
no,
Yeah.
so that would be, so anyways, go ahead.
Sorry, I just want to clarify one thing. Within the conditions as well, it also says that they would have to abide by Land Development Code Section 115-17B, which basically says if they don't use the parking lot anymore, then that use goes away.
Okay, so if the parking at the site is deemed to be inadequate, are you talking about number 7?
1 second.
No, that's separate. So there's that assurance as well in the CUP language that if the city deems it's inadequate, CUP could be revoked. But I think what staff is referring to is a code section that means that they've got to use it for what they say they're going to use it for, else it kind of may go away.
Okay. So the CUP is attached to the church, church attaches to the parking lot. If they don't use both, then,
In a manner of speaking.
yeah. But I was just to make it just, because it's 3 different parcels.
Yes.
And you can sell one of them, you know, that's the thing. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So that's my question. So if you guys are all okay with
No,
that.
you're right. It's like zoning. I mean, if it was rezoned, it's like as one, you know, PUD use, for example. If it all got PUD zoning and then only one parcel got sold, they're still stuck in the PUD conditions. It's the same thing here under a CUP.
Got it. So if you're comfortable that the resolution has that language of the parking and it's attached to the CUP, then we're good?
I'm
That's-
comfortable.
Okay.
For whatever that's worth.
As long as I asked legal and they said okay. So,
Yeah, I mean.
okay. Yeah. Just wanted us to, okay, perfect. So that was the one question. 10 feet to 5 feet, again, what was the reasons behind the reduction? Was because of the parking? Okay, so,
The parking does not fit any other way.
so are we
To
going
be
to,
compliant with the parking, we needed the 5 feet is the best way.
Again,
Can you
we're
come to
we're
the
having
microphone?
trouble getting everyone. We need it
I'm
on the
sorry.
mic.
it's okay.
My apology.
No worries. So I'll ask again. So the 10 feet to 5 feet, what was the reasoning behind that? And you're saying that it was because of parking?
Because of the parking.
Right.
Yes.
So for me to be comfortable with that, from going from 10 feet to 5 feet, then I would look to you and say, okay, what can we do in lieu of that? So if you want the 5 feet, could we provide more vegetation on the parking lot? There's no shading at all in that parking lot. I mean, it becomes hot in the summer. For me to be comfortable for that, and I understand that you want the parking, could there be some more vegetation added, to
So-
the site? Because I don't see any vegetation at all, even
That is correct.
on the plans.
There is no vegetation because the church is transient and there is no permanent staff to do maintenance or water it. The staff, the pastor and the staff live in Lakeland and they come here for services and then go home. So we didn't want to set the church staff or not staff, one person, the pastor, or the congregation to fail. That's why we did the
vinyl fence.
privacy fence, the 6 foot as the buffer. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but there's one neighbor here that instead of the fence, they would like to have the trees or shrubs serve as a barrier screening in their location.
And I understood that was on the SPA 3.
That's it's on the west side of his property, which is the west side of 711 East Montrose Street.
Right.
Okay, so, and you were okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, so, so that answered my question on the 10 feet to 5 feet. Can you show me again where the 6 foot high wall alongside rear property, so it's everything besides that one side? The vinyl,
Yes.
because you're reducing from 10 to 5, and in place of that, you're putting a vinyl fence.
That's correct.
Okay, so the fence
So it's
is,
going on the west side,
okay,
the south
Bottom.
side,
Okay.
and east side
Okay.
of SPA up to there is a dimension there of 20 feet off the parking lot, sidewalk, sorry.
And then also on this side too, right?
Yeah.
And on SPA two,
And
also on
SPA
SPA
as
two.
well. Yes.
Okay, and then on the east side of SPA three, and at the bottom as well, correct, on SPA three?
It is along the east side.
Right, and what about the,
We're not doing anything there at all. We're trying to maintain that piece of property essentially untouched. All we're adding is concrete wheel stops.
Okay.
To define parking. That's
got it, okay.
That's
And
it.
SPA three is C1 anyway, so that's
Yes.
commercial versus Air 3. So you're trying to appease to the residents
Yeah.
to at least have the vinyl?
Yeah,
Okay.
which is important.
And I understand that
Yeah.
for the SPA 3.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then there was the lady for the public comment that spoke on behalf, yes, of her sister. She said that she was concerned about the gravel, I guess, or parking, but based on my, I just want to clarify.
Yeah. There will
Based on
be-
my, it's grass.
It is grass.
Okay, so
Yes.
so grass on SPA 2,
Correct.
grass on SPA 3,
Correct.
and SPA 1 is an existing
Is existing gravel.
gravel,
Yes,
okay.
but the handicap obviously will be concrete.
Right, and the handicap is only on SPA 1.
Correct.
Okay, so not on SPA 3, and that is not a requirement, is that?
That's correct.
It's
It
not
is
a requirement, okay.
No, we achieve the requirements that ADA and the city code asks for based on the number of parking.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, and then on the parking, and this is probably a staff question, or you can probably answer that. I understand how you got 33, because it's 130 seats, and you divide that by 4, so you got 32.5, and then you add that. But does this calculation also include the existing Sunday school?
It
and
does.
And the ancillary building?
It does. So based on student teaching ratio, the parking calculation has a Sunday school teacher and an assistant
Okay.
in the Sunday school.
Okay, so
And their
that's-
parking, that body count is included.
Okay. So that satisfies that. Okay, perfect. And I think for me right now, that is, as of now, all the questions. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
No trouble. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner May. Commissioner Insua.
I actually only just have one question. For SPA 2, is there a reason you guys decided to go with vertical parking in comparison to diagonal for that lot?
We did. So we wanted it to be the safest type of parking possible for people that were backing out and pulling in. And that's what we came up with.
Great. Okay. Just wanted that
Yeah.
out in the public. I wasn't sure because I know a lot of times with diagonal, you obviously can get some more space and more density.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I don't have any other questions. You guys have already talked to your neighbors and they're fine with that. And from a planning perspective, this looks good. So no other questions for me.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Insua. Commissioner Nemec.
Good questions, Commissioners, very good questions. I just have a few, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Number one, to staff, since you're right there, Ms. Justin. Is there street parking allowed?
Not that I'm aware of, no. However,
Okay.
there are street parking on East Montrose Street that's existing already.
That's what I want to ask. Okay. Okay, to the applicant, thank you very much. To the applicant, okay, we found that one out. You said you have 100 members, so pretty much, what is the age of the children's church? Would you know that offhand, sir?
I don't know. Do you?
Elder, if you could answer that, I appreciate it, to help me reach my decision. Sorry to call you back up.
Mostly elementary. We don't have any teenager church right now, just elementary, so
So their oldest is,
maybe 7 or so.
okay, that leading to, stay there, leading to my second question, is there a pickup, like, when the children go into the school, do the parents go home, or do they go to the church services?
Oh, they're in the church.
Excellent.
Everybody's on
Good
site.
answer. Thank you. Now, could you ask me, and we were told there was Sunday and Wednesday nights, and then you disclosed there was a Friday night. Are there any that you could think of? Are there any other services besides Friday, 2 on Sunday, and 2 on Wednesday?
Of course, we're a church and we have revivals sometimes or evangelistic meetings.
Regular
Right.
services.
The regular service, that's about it, yes.
Okay, thank you. You answered those questions, and I have no other further questions. I'm ready to set a vote.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Nemec. Commissioner Kramer.
Thank you, Chair.
I really don't have much. I just want to clarify one last time on the easement because I'm getting confused, and I want to make sure that the resident in between SPA 3 and SPA 1 is asking for no reduction in the 10 to 5 foot easement on the property that would be to the west of their property. And everybody's okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I'm just asking, so when we make when we start making a motion, that we get this correct, because I want to make sure that we're not making any mistakes here. All my questions have been answered. Thank you. I feel real good about this.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Kramer. Commissioner Hoisington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excellent questions from my fellow commissioners. They practically asked, or they did ask every question that I had written down. I do have a problem with the reduction in the easement. I also have a problem with the reduction in the greenery. Knowing that area, what it looks like now, and foreseeing what it would look like when the church expands, I would think that the church would want to beautify the area and put as much greenery around to make it feel, just to build up the community. And I saw where there was a statement here where they did not want to go, they wanted to reduce the amount of vegetation that they put in, and I have a problem with that. The gentleman that spoke on the traffic and the speeding, I don't think there's a council meeting that happens where there's not a community that's complaining about speeding. There's not a council meeting that goes by, a community that's complaining about speeding. And this particular area, the traffic has picked up tremendously. Is it to avoid getting on 27 and 50? I don't know, but the traffic is constant. Whether it's Saturday, Wednesday, or Friday, it's every day. The traffic is constant. And to add additional seats, which means you will be bringing in additional people, which would mean you will be bringing in additional traffic, that concerns me. And once the traffic leaves, it goes on Bloxham. Then it goes on DeSoto. All of that I have a problem with, and right now, based on what I've heard, I can't support this. I can't support this, particularly if they're not wanting to beautify the area. If I lived there, I wouldn't want a fence going up on either side either, and then my house being in the middle. So those are just some concerns of mine.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. I guess for my comments, I would just ask, would the applicant like to address any of those items?
Well, I'm not sure what to say to your objection, other than I know that the church is part of the community. They care about their community. I know that we want to make this project successful for them, and we didn't want to add things that would become a burden to the church upfront costs and forever maintenance. So those are some of the driving forces in these decisions.
Can I piggyback on
Yes, go ahead.
on her questions? When I asked about the 10-foot to 5 feet, you answered it was because you wanted to fit the parking. Because you wanted to fit the number of parking. So if we decided not to do the 5 feet and 10 feet to you or to staff, what happens? I mean, does it reduce it to how many numbers? And
The
it's-
church cannot do this project. It's that simple.
Okay, I wanted to hear that. Thank you.
All right, before I ask for a motion, are there any other questions or comments from any members of the commission?
So I want to go back one more time because this is where I got confused. Thank you, Commissioner. No, thank you for doing it to me again, and I mean that sincerely. Thank you, because you raised you were the one that raised it originally and why. So I want to be clear. If I make a motion to pass this, and one of the things I say is no, if I add 4 caveats to this, and number 3 would be no reduction of the easement from 10 to 5 feet, that will be an impediment for you, won't it?
That would be on SPA 3 only.
So that's what, and that is exactly what we're trying to make sure. So only for SPA 3 would the reduction.
SPA 3, there is no reduction of setbacks or borders or anything. We're not doing anything to that parcel other than putting concrete wheel stops in to define the number of parking spaces that already exist there.
So I'm going to make a motion here, and I'm going to try to craft a motion here, and it gets a little complicated. So I will say that parking shall be grass parking according to this
Yes, sir.
letter that you have agreed, that the parties involved have agreed, and I appreciate that. No fence shall be installed on the left side that would use shrubbery, and that no reduction in the easement from 10 to 5 feet. But if I say that in general, should I say 10 to 5 feet for SPA 3?
Yes, sir. And there
No
is no
reduction
fence.
of the easement
And there
from
is
10 to
no
5 feet
fence on
for
SPA 3.
SPA
And there is no
3.
gravel or paved parking on SPA 3. There is grass parking on SPA 2 and 1,
Understood.
other than the 2 handicap spots.
Thank you. I really am just trying to make sure that, that if I make a motion here, which I'm going to do.
Okay, well, have not called for a motion yet. Are there any more questions, comments?
Yeah, in addition to the conditions, I would like to add what Commissioner Ebo, I can never say your last name, so I apologize.
It's Ensua. We can all practice
Ensu,
it.
thank you,
Ensua.
and I want to be, I just didn't want to say it wrong.
That's a lectern, and that's Ensua. We'll get it right.
He did bring up a very important point in regards to the gentleman that brought it up about this traffic, and would like to get his comment, if you can, in regards to, or discussions on if you wanted to add either a speed control or a speed bump, or maybe a crosswalk, as well as, I understand that they're having somebody who's directing the traffic. And then Commissioner Nemec, you did a good point in regards to asking about the school, and also in regards to traffic. The one question that leads to me is that, is there parking, do people now, the members, park on the street?
Yes, I believe there are 3 parking spaces already on the street that they do use.
But you're going to have a parking lot. So what I'm trying.
Yes, based on, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no
My
worries.
apologies. Based on the code, and staff told us we cannot count those spaces because they are off-site, and we can only figure and calculate based on on-site.
Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing that up is that's something that, it's, control of park, so I would like for you to, I know you had talked about that, and so if that could be a condition, I'm okay with having a condition like that added because of the people walking past in the
Do you want to
traffic.
comment on that, Commissioner Ensua?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
All right. So no other questions, comments from the commission. So at this time, I will entertain a motion.
I am going to attempt this. Buckle up, folks. I make a motion to approve 2026-007R with the following recommendations by the board. That the parking area on 709 East Montrose property shall be grass parking only. Recommendation 2, no fence shall be installed on the west side of the property of 711 East Montrose, and the recommendation for shrubs or trees to serve as the barrier. Recommendation 3, no reduction of the easement from 10 to 5 feet for SPA 3. And number 4, recommend speed mitigation that would be deemed most appropriate by staff. That's it.
Okay. So we have a motion. Does that sound like a proper motion to council?
Yes.
Okay. So we have agreement that that sounds like a proper motion. Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second it, yes.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we will move on to item number 2 and a presentation from staff.
I'm still confused about this family living there that goes to the church. That one confused me. And I'm trying to keep it simple tonight. Why don't you give me a second to get out? Clear the room.
Yeah, we'll wait just a moment while folks make their way out. Thank you for coming.
I think that's the largest besides my community daycare. I didn't say nothing. Listen,
Okay, staff, would you like to present item number 2?
Of course. Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commissioners and guests. Nick Gonzalez, Development Services. This is agenda item number 2, Wahlburgers at Home Depot CUP. The applicant, Adaptive Provisions LLC, is requesting a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a food truck on an improved parcel. Good to go?
You're good.
All right, I'll start from the beginning. The applicant, Adaptive Provisions LLC, is requesting a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a food truck on an improved parcel designated within the C2 General Zoning District. The proposed location is 1530 East Highway 50 within the Home Depot parking lot. The applicant proposes to operate a single food truck, Wahlburgers, offering takeout service only. The use is intended to be family-friendly in nature and will not involve alcohol service, amplified entertainment, or late-night operations. The proposed hours of operation are 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., consistent with the Home Depot's business hours. The applicant has provided written authorization from Home Depot allowing the use of the property, including access to restroom facilities for patrons and mop sinks for operational uses. Here you can see the site. That is the shopping plaza that is north of Highway 50, and that is off of Oakley Seaver Drive. If we can go to a closer, this is the Home Depot that is the subject property, and here is where the food truck location is proposed. The food truck is proposed to be located near the pro section of Home Depot on the east side of the facility, positioned at least 10 feet from the building. The placement will not impede the designated fire lane, and the final location will be confirmed during site review to ensure compliance with all applicable building and fire safety codes. The food truck will also require connection to electrical power from Home Depot, for which the applicant will obtain the necessary permits prior to installation and operation. Additionally, the applicant has indicated that a contracted service provider will handle the collection and disposal of gray water and waste oil. And again, here is the proposed location. And this is where the pro shop is, and they designated that red area would be the designated fire lane that they will stay out of. And here are some photos. This is an existing Wahlburgers food truck that is located at a different location at a Home Depot store. And here is the proposed location at the Clermont Home Depot store. That is where the pro shop is. this canopy, so it would be around this area. Is the proposed location, still will need to be verified during site approval. The city's land development code does not identify food trucks as permitted use within the C2 general commercial district. As such, section 125-313 requires approval of a conditional use permit for this type of operation. Although the C2 general commercial district permits restaurants and food establishments when conducted within an enclosed structure, staff finds that the proposed use is compatible with the district and what would not be more objectionable than any other permitted use. Additionally, due to the recent food truck applications presented to Planning and Zoning Council, the City Council has directed staff to prepare an ordinance that will allow food trucks or mobile food services operations meeting approved conditions to be permitted, eliminating the need for a conditional use permit. This ordinance amendment will be brought forward both to the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council for consideration at a future date. When evaluating a request for a conditional use permit, the Land Development Code Section 101-212 requires specific development standards that are required to be met. Staff has reviewed the application as submitted in accordance with the development standards criteria and finds the proposed use can meet the general criteria for granting a conditional use permit. The proposed use will not be detrimental to health, safety, welfare of the surrounding community, and staff recommends approval of the conditional use permit with the conditions contained in resolution number 2026-009R. And that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we would like to ask the applicant to come up.
Hi, my name is Brianna. I'm with Adaptive Provisions, and I'm the NSO manager.
My name is Eden. I'm with Adaptive Provisions. I am our head of training and development. And today we are here to discuss potentially coming to the Clermont area. We currently have 3 food trucks open already, one in Vieira, one in Vero Beach, and one in Stewart. We prioritize going to communities that are growing as well, since we are growing in early stages. We are looking forward to the potential to really provide jobs in the community, to provide a family-friendly restaurant area that people can go to and enjoy, and to cater to many of the Wahlberg fans that we have found at our other locations as well. And we are ready for questions.
All right. Thank you for your presentation. Are there any members of the public who would like to make a comment? All right.
Not many
Thank
left.
you for being here. I wasn't sure. Zane sometimes has a lot to say. I guess not on this one. His mouth's watering for a Wahlburger, I think. All right. We will bring it to the commission for questions and comments, and we will start to my right with Commissioner Hoisington.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have one question. So there will be no permanent seating structure?
There
set
will
up
not
there?
be.
So it's all get your food and leave?
Takeout only.
And
Yes.
then I see where you said the hours of 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. What about holidays when Home Depot may be closed? Will you still be in operation between 8 and 8?
If Home Depot is closed, we follow suit with their hours. If it's a holiday that they're open, we follow suit with those as well.
Okay.
So if they're closed, we're closed. If they're
Okay.
open, we're open.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Kramer.
Thank you, Chair. I like that this activates some commercial space. It's rare that I go to a Home Depot or even a Lowe's where there's not the hot dog guy or someone out there, so I get it. And always wondered why we didn't have it here, and realize it's because that's the way we zone things. So, this is precedent setting because it does change things, but if I understand correctly from staff that the city realizes that this is a issue, and we've dealt with food trucks several times lately. So I'm relieved to see that the city is taking this on as well. So right now I'm fairly neutral on this, and I'll reserve any more comments, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'll insert myself here since I usually wait till the end and all the good questions have been asked. But just, I mean, it's interesting that you say the word precedent. But I mean, my understanding is we take these case by case. Would that be correct, counsel?
As a legal matter, yes. In other words, if you recommend and the city council, well, I guess regardless of your recommendation, the city council adopts it and approves it, it's not, another applicant can't rely on it as precedent to argue that they should get it as well. As a legal matter, they can make the fairness case, though, and say, well, why not me? So I think, technically, no, it's not precedent, but you're going to hear the applicant say it regardless.
Okay, just so it doesn't mean that because this happens, something
That
else
it
is
must
necessarily
happen, no.
Absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to clarify with that. And then also, I just want to be clear on this food truck. I can see it's on wheels. It's very mobile. Will this be moving every day? Are you leaving it there? Or how does this work with this trailer? Are you kind of fixed in one spot?
Yeah. Once we park it, it stays there. It's not like we're moving it back and forth.
Okay, so you come, you park it. It is movable, but
It is movable,
it's
but
really
we
there
don't
to
move
stay.
it. Correct.
Exactly. If there's ever a reason for us to need to move it, we can always do that, really at the drop of a hat. So that's no worries. But we never do really move it just up to us. It's really if Home Depot thinks that we should move a little bit, closer to this side, we can take care of that. No problem.
And this is the model that you're doing in 3 other locations at this point?
Correct.
Very similar to this?
Yeah.
With no seating or anything, people just come and it's grab and go?
Yep.
All right. Okay, Commissioner Nemec, your turn.
Okay, here we go. It's a great vibration.
I know.
Somebody got it up there. All right, so I guess my other question, the chairperson, this is a trailer, not a truck, correct?
It is a trailer.
Okay, that takes care of that. And it is on full-time site because it's a trailer. Okay. My only question I have, are you self-sufficient or do you have a commissary letter?
All of the trucks that we have are self-sufficient, so we can food prep everything inside the truck. Our waste is picked up by a company and our fresh water is delivered as well. We have an oil company that picks it up as well. So we do not require a commissary kitchen, and that is through DBPR.
Correct. Very good answer. Okay, so the gray area, I heard you say Home Depot will take care of that for your gray area, your gray water?
The gray water, no, we actually have a company to come pick it up. They pump it out for us.
Wow. I have to tell you, there's a lot of food trucks that came across my desk.
We're a little
Okay, and I am very, I gotta watch how I word things because people are listening. I'm very happy that, number one, you met all the criterias. You met the lighting, you met the parking, you met the criteria of where your waste is going. You also met the restroom, that it's not going to be, that, let's just put it that way before I get in trouble on that one. Okay? I like it.
Thank you.
No, because you met the criteria. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Oh, well,
Thank you, Vinny. Commissioner, and I'm glad we could make you happy, Vinny. Commissioner Ansua. I mean, he's never been, you don't realize it, but he's never been this happy, so this is fantastic. Commissioner Ansua.
The only question, and this is actually, I don't ask questions like this, but I'm genuinely curious because you guys do not work for Wahlburgers, correct?
We are a franchise
Okay.
of Wahlburgers, correct. So our
Okay.
company is Adaptive Provisions.
Yes.
And then Wahlburgers is corporate.
Okay.
So we have a partnership within Home Depot, Wahlburgers, and our company. We all
Got it.
work together to bring awesome food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, if something, say like an incident, again, I try to stick to planning, but I'm genuinely curious. If something does happen, usually is it you all who takes the ownership of like an incident or something, or is it, well, like, I don't know, I'm going to be really outlandish. The company that comes and picks up your sewage drops it on somebody's leg, they broke their foot. Is it you all, or is it Wahlburgers, or is it Home Depot that usually would take care of it? Like I said, that's
It's
very...
on Home Depot property.
Yes.
But we also hold our own insurance.
Okay.
That $1 million policy as well.
Okay.
I don't want to give you the wrong answer, but it is on Home Depot property.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean?
So basically, whoever, if that I know, if that happens to somebody, there's multiple people they would go. Okay.
They'll sue everybody.
Sorry, yeah, I don't have. Okay, that's perfectly fine. That
No,
was
that's a good question.
that was just. I know. That was just my own knowledge. I was curious. Go ahead. You guys are great. Go ahead.
That's a good question.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. And so Commissioner May.
Perfect. So I want to put on record, this is not a food truck. This is a food trailer, but also known as a mobile food dispensing vehicle. So is that what we're going to be calling? Okay, so that's what we're going to be calling it now?
That is the license through DBPR
Right.
that I file for.
Right.
With a plan review.
Got it. So wanted to make sure. Our conditions, it does have hours for 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I think that to satisfy, Commissioner Paula Hoisington, I think we should have some language there, I guess, basically saying that it follows the Home Depot hours. I mean, I'm just adding that just in case. All signs shall be consistent with the city sign code. I know there's sign codes. I don't know what the sign code is for a mobile food dispensing vehicle. Can the city staff tell me what that is? The sign code, is it what we're seeing in front there, or are they going to have those flags, you know?
They can't, with our code, they can't have any flags, but those sandwich boards or A-frames are applicable in our code. So, yeah, you won't see any flags.
Because I see flags around the city.
Well, that may be, they may be in Lake County.
Yeah, I'm just, so is there
Call our code enforcement.
So is there a minimum or a maximum, or is that what we're going to see there, the 4 signs?
As long as they're not, it's not against the code, for sandwich, what I see right there would be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, because we don't have an ordinance on food trucks or mobile food dispensing vehicles. So that was just a question that I wanted to have, because signs are different for.
Our sign ordinance would still apply.
Would still apply. Okay, perfect. I see that the authorization letter was part of the, that, and I appreciate that. That was good to have that. Do we have to have that letter as part of the conditions, as saying, that it has been satisfied, or just attached to? That's too legal. Should we put?
I guess.
Well, the letter was already authorized, so, so that there's no issues. So we just add it to the resolution as a supplement.
As an attachment.
As an attachment.
I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, because just so that people are satisfied that, they've followed the rules and I think, I understand you showed us the fire lane. Now, my issue, because I go to Home Depot a lot, I do a lot of work at my home, that particular location, there's a lot of cars that go in and out, and a lot of construction guys, trucks. So will that impede, I'm looking at safety issues. When somebody goes up in Wahlberg, trust me, there's going to be a line. I'm looking forward to it. There could be a line for people to buy burgers. It could fall into the location of where these trucks are going in and out, because sometimes there's a lot, and there's also, when it rains, they bring in their cars there. Would that be an issue? Let me rephrase the question. The location that was picked, was that Home Depot that was okay with that, knowing that they have trucks going in and out, or would you guys be okay to move it a little bit further out so that I'm just concerned about the trucks coming in and out. I mean, there's a lot of general contractors that pick up materials.
No, you bring up a good point. The picture, Home Depot is good with this location.
Okay.
When you're looking at the photo, you see the sheds and everything. All of those will be removed.
Okay.
So it will free up a lot of space, and we can design it so after they order, they can be standing on the left-hand side to, not cause anything. The picture doesn't do it justice, but there is plenty of space to avoid any incidences.
So will you be using like cones or,
Yes.
traffic, like the
Correct.
cones to kind of
Guide the
direct the
traffic,
people?
correct.
Yes, they do that at all of our other locations currently, also to prevent people from parking right there to endanger any pedestrians waiting. So
Okay.
yes, Home Depot is actually on top of that, really, without us having to remind them, since it is on their property. They're
Okay.
very mindful of that as well.
That was the only thing. I don't have any other issues. You guys have plenty of parking. The Home Depot's authorizing you guys to use the bathrooms inside, something about mops, what is it? Mop sinks for operational needs. And you have the letter that satisfies that. Home Depot's aware and they gave you permission. The only thing I had was in regards to the pedestrian, the safety issue because of the cars. But if you're using cones or anything like that to avoid that, I'm good with that. So I appreciate the answers to those. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner May. Commissioner Tadona.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I shared my commissioner's concern, just looking at that picture at the bottom of page 48. So as long as we got cones and we're directing people away, that would be great. We're positioned at least 10 feet from the building?
Absolutely.
Okay. It also says that the food truck is going to require an electrical connection, electrical power from Home Depot. How is that running to the trailer?
It would be a 220 volt into Home Depot with a permit. I think it's a 30 amp to the trailer.
Okay, but how? Are we putting
Oh, there's a cord.
a cord
Yeah.
underneath some sort of a track? So
There's a cord, so it would go from the building, the trailer, straight across, and then we use the mat so no one trips. There's
Goes all-
cones, everything.
Awesome. Any need for propane, gas, or a generator, or is everything running on electricity on the food truck?
Electricity. Propane, we hire companies that deliver the propane.
Okay.
They do site checks every time that they deliver it as well for safety purposes.
Okay. So I'm assuming it says fire safety codes, fire marshal will have a say in making sure everything is up to snuff.
They have to sign off, so if this were to be approved, health inspection and then fire inspection.
Okay.
So we'll
Thank you.
cover everything.
Awesome, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. And I do have a follow-up question as far as security. It looks like on the trailer on the left-hand side where the gentleman's hat is, looks like that could possibly be a security camera. Is there security part of this, to keep an eye on anything, keep something from happening to your property?
Absolutely. So we install, we've now made it so there's 2 cameras on the front, 1 camera on the side or the back end, so it's a fisheye, so we know what's happening. Also, along with that, Home Depot has their own camera systems, so we got plenty of eyes on it.
Okay, and can we assume that part of your contract, if there was any vandalism, if, worst case scenario, somebody spray painted or something, it's part of your contract that you have to keep the unit pristine?
Absolutely.
Good question.
Great. All right, any further questions?
If I may, Chairman, I'd like to disclose to the commission that actually I spoke to a few employees that I know from Home Depot. I know the location very well, as some of our commissions, and I believe the manager actually said that there's going to be like 5 feet of sidewalk before it goes into the fire lane. So if anything, I guess that's where your line would be, so for the safety. I do understand where Commissioner May's coming from, because I almost got it a few times without a food truck, looking at the fences there. But I just wanted to disclose that we are allowed to go on site, and since I was buying a shovel, I asked my friends that work there, what do they think about the site there, and they're all for it.
All right, sounds good. And Mark Wahlberg is a Boston fan, not a New York fan, correct?
Yeah, I know, but he supports Towers for Tunnels,
Okay.
and that's my fallen brothers.
Do we have any other questions? All right, at this time, I will entertain a motion.
Somebody wanted to add something to it, I believe I heard.
No, I was just asking the commissioner who brought up the hours if she wanted to add any conditions.
All right, then I'll set a motion for resolution 2026-009R for the Wahlburgers at Home Depot conditional use permit for approval.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Shoot.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. All right, it is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you all.
When are we opening? When are you opening?
Yeah.
We're gonna get right on it.
I know, I'm like, isn't there one more? Very soon. Thank you so much, you guys.
Okay, we have items 3 and 4. Can staff confirm that you will present these together? We will, I'm sorry, I will wait a moment. You're presenting 3 and 4 together, and we will vote on them separately.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
Yep, give me just 1 second. Let's do this one for now. Alrighty. Good evening, Planning and Zoning Commissioners and guests. Nick and Zoss Development Service, agenda item 3 and 4. This is Cole's small-scale comp plan amendment and rezoning. The applicant is requesting a voluntary annexation, a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning of the subject parcel for the purpose of providing the existing commercial uses with enhanced city services. The property is approximately 15.9 acres and is located at 12305 US Highway 27. The subject property is located within the Inter-Service Boundary Agreement ISBA area, as well as the JPA area, the Joint Planning Area. This is the site that is highlighted in yellow. It's right off of US 27, and here you can see that it touches this red boundary, which is a city limit. That's the southern boundary, and also to the north is the Fifth Third Bank that is also highlighted in red. It's kind of hard to see it on there, but through coordination with the city's development liaison, Zane Ertel, the city identified the site as a candidate for annexation, which was determined to be mutually beneficial for both the property owner and the city. We'll only be looking at the future land use and rezoning today. The proposed map amendment. Can you zoom out, John? Thank you. The proposed map amendment would change the future land use designation from Lake County's urban low to City of Clermont's commercial designation. The property is currently developed with a commercial retail department store. Policy 1.12.3 of the city's comp plan encourages voluntary annexation, stating, "The city shall encourage requests for voluntary annexation into the city when those lands are logical extensions of the existing city limits, when services can be properly provided, and when proposed uses are compatible with the city's comp plan." The property is located along US Highway 27 corridor, an area characterized by established and planned commercial uses. Annexation of the site is a logical extension of the city boundary and is consistent and compatible with the existing development pattern along this corridor. Staff has reviewed the request and finds that the proposed comprehensive plan amendment meets the requirements for voluntary annexation, that the city is capable of serving the property, and that the request is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval of the small-scale comp plan amendment, ordinance number 2026-016. The proposed rezoning would change the designation from Lake County's PUD Plan Unit Development to the city's C2 General Commercial Zoning District. The property is currently developed with a commercial retail department store. The property was originally developed under Lake County's PUD Resolution Number 1994-110 Spring Valley, which entitled the area for 546 single-family residential units and 20 acres for up to 160,000 square feet of commercial development. The property owner, Spring Valley, entered into a utility service agreement with the city on October 1st, 1999 to receive wastewater services. As the PUD area has reached full development and no remaining entitlements or land use conditions apply to the Coles parcel, the city's C2 general commercial designation is the most appropriate zoning district. C2 general commercial is consistent with the existing use, aligns with the city's commercial standards along US 27 corridor, and removes the need to rely on an outdated PUD document. Rezoning to C2 general commercial zoning will ensure consistent development regulations, signage standards, and administrative procedures for the established commercial parcel. Staff has reviewed the applicant's proposal and finds the proposed zoning at this location is compatible with the uses in the area. The requested C2 general commercial designation is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan land development regulations, and staff recommends approval of ordinance 2026-017. Just wanted to add that the applicant, Coles, they are actually based out of Wisconsin, so they aren't present. But this was a collaboration with the city, and Zane Ertel can provide any additional background as well. And that concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Any member of the public want to make a comment? Seeing none, I will. Oh wait, I should have gone right to the applicant. Would the applicant like to add anything? I did. Well, there's really not an applicant. The city is the applicant. Well, there's so many people in the audience. I'm trying to keep it straight. So I think we'll bring it up here to the commission to ask questions. So I'm going to start with the commissioner that I had served with some time ago and is back again, and Commissioner Ensua.
I actually don't have. Well, thank you, Chair. I don't have any real questions. I know we've been talking about doing this for a very long time, even when I was on council and even before I was on council. So I'm glad that we're finally taking the steps to take pieces that fit what we're looking to do for the future. So thanks, Zane, for your hard work, and staff, the rest of you guys, thank you for working with Coles. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Commissioner May.
I thought Zane was going to speak before us, but that's good. So Zane, I know you identified the site as a candidate for annexation, which was determined to be mutually beneficial for both the property owner and the city. So my question to you, since we have these two outliers right next to it,
yes,
did you speak to those owners as well? Because you would think that those would be kind of a combination of a annexation as well, because they're right next to each other. So.
Yeah, you'd think so. They're much harder to get in contact with than Coles. They're under like 15 different companies, so I've been trying to track them down. We figured that the leverage of Coles being there and leaving them on an island would kind of bring them to the table. So that's where we're at with things.
Got it. So that's like your phase two.
Yep,
of this
exactly.
project. Okay, great. So the question, I'm assuming that they're voluntary going into annexation because based on what they said in their application, they are going to, I guess, build another retail as part of that. That's what it says in the application, so that's why I just wanted to verify.
Essentially, everything is going to be the exact same from the county to the city. Okay. They will be saving about $23,000 a year in taxes, and we'll be adding about $80,000 to our tax roll.
Okay, because it says the change will permit the development of a retail building consistent with the city's land development regulations.
I think they just
established. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get verification on that because I believe the Kohl's store is only 88,632 square feet, and the PUD allowed up to 160,000. So they're still should have the ability to build on that. It would be nice. I mean, it's a big parking lot.
So
It's a
huge parking lot. With the huge parking lot, if they did want to build a, let's say an additional retail in the front of the east side of that parking lot, as long as they fall under the C2 uses and they follow our code with the and our comp plan regarding FAR and
Right.
impervious, then they are allowed to do that, and there's
Good.
a sufficient enough parking for both Kohl's and the retail or whatever they decide to add.
Perfect. So there's no limitations in the resolution. So there, it's open so that they would be
C2
able to.
uses is there.
That's awesome.
is there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I would love to see a little bit more being built on that.
They have the flexibility to do
Yeah.
that. They choose to.
Perfect. And then the question that I have, and probably would be the last question, and this might be to Christian. It's on page 105 of the utility agreement. And I actually did read this. Wow. It says, and I'm not sure if it applies anymore, but in the event that the Spring Valley property is annexed into the city of Clermont, the date for the above obligations to purchase 50 ERCs shall be the business days after the Spring Valley property has been annexed into the city of Clermont, and all approvals for the development of the Spring Valley property has been obtained, both not being subject to rescissions or appeal. It just says annexation, so we are annexing. You know, we're going to be providing recommendations on an annexation, so does that also apply, that language?
Well, can you direct me to the exact, I'm looking
sorry.
at the utility agreement. You said page
Page
105?
one, it says 105 on mine, and then 6, there's a 6 on top and a page 105 at the bottom. Do you need the paper version, or?
Is there any other
Ooh,
hint
book.
that you could, like a
Shoot.
section?
On top it says book 1763, page 1652.
Oh, you know, my version doesn't have that. So yeah, what's the record? 1652. All right, thank you.
So on section 6,
That's what I needed.
yeah,
Thanks.
halfway
Section
down,
6.
since we're annexing, I wasn't sure if this applies, because it says, in the event that the Spring Valley property is annexed into the city of Clermont, which it's going to happen, right? Well, I don't know, after our recommendation, the date for the above obligation to purchase 50 ERCs, I mean, is there something
Well,
that we need to?
I don't think you are making a recommendation on annexation.
Okay,
You're making a recommendation on zoning and future
Okay,
land
so
use.
I was-
The annexation goes straight to council.
okay. But I just wanted to show you that, because that wording was there.
In the
so it
event
wasn't-
that the Spring Valley is annexed into the city, the date for the above obligation to purchase 50 ERC shall be the first business day afterward. And all approvals for the development have been obtained. Let's see.
Christian,
So-
if you continue, if it says within 18 months after such initial payment has been made to the city.
So maybe it's
wouldn't
just something for you to be aware of. It's nothing for us, because I wasn't.
This is you know, it's a Kohl's issue. I'm not.
No, it's a.
These ERCs. So I think, thank you for raising it to my attention. I'm not concerned.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I saw annexation, but if we're not doing annexation, then that's not a question that I'm going to be asking anymore. And I think, but we are going to, we are talking about a small scale versus a large, small scale, right? We are recommending that?
Yeah, this is under 50 acres, so it's a small scale, and it'll be a recommendation.
So it is 50 acres. I thought it was,
less than 50. Yeah,
I thought it was less than 10.
it's
It
now
was-
50 acres.
Okay,
It
it's
was
now
amended-
50.
It was
Yeah.
amended a few years ago.
Thank you. That just answered my question. And that is all.
All
Thank you
right.
very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Nemec, do you have any?
Yes, I'd like to disclose I met with staff earlier this week, and they answered all my questions. Thank you.
Just for future, I don't think we have to disclose if we speak to staff, do we? Is that a
Well, they're
disclosure?
the applicant, that's why I'm disclosing it.
You know, that's actually a really good question. I think you should, but let me get back to you on that.
Counselor,
I mean, I
they're
think
the
you should.
applicant, right? I mean, they're the one
Kohl's
that's
is still the applicant.
Oh, they're still the applicant.
They're still the
but
applicant.
You're
I'm just-
representing them right now, so that's
No,
why.
But no, to your point, I mean, actually, yeah, if you do have communication with the city beforehand and you're considering things outside the hearing, it could be prejudicial to the applicant if you don't disclose that as well. So I think that's actually a good point.
Okay.
Christian,
Right.
just Christian.
Mr. Kramer.
Clarification: is this because the city was in collaboration with the Kohl's on this, or is this regardless of any project? If you meet with city staff, that it should be disclosed. Is that what you're?
I think that if if you're going to hear things that aren't presented at the meeting, if you hear things that aren't exactly what staff presents, then it's like additional stuff. It is ex parte in a way.
Okay.
And yeah, I do think it could be prejudicial to an applicant if, you know, like for example, if staff is opposing something. That's not the case here, but if
Yep.
staff was opposing it, and I'm the developer, I sure would want to know what the commissioners are hearing from staff outside. So actually, I'm really glad you raised the point. Yes, I think that should be disclosed.
So
in the
it's
future.
not this project specific,
No.
but.
Correct.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, Commissioner Kramer.
Thank you, Chair. Just a couple quick things. Looks like this will align the land use with existing commercial realty in that area. It cleans up some jurisdictional inconsistency. I'm just going to ask one question. Why are we doing this now?
So, it has been years, from what I've heard, to get in contact with Kohl's. And we've been making active efforts for years, as Commissioner Ansua mentioned. It's been years, and I have a thing I always do when I can't reach someone is call the media line. And they finally picked up. And that's why that's happening now, is they finally picked up, and we're able to move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all the questions I have. I think, again, this is a long time coming, and this makes everything a little bit easier.
Thank you. Commissioner Hoisington?
I have no questions.
And Commissioner Tadona?
No questions.
All right. Do we have a motion on, we will take them one at a time. So do we have a motion for item 3?
I'll set the motion for ordinance 2026-0-016, Cole's Small Scale Comprehensive Plan Amendment, okay, for approval. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Chair voted aye. And for item number 4, do we have a motion?
I will, sorry, I'll submit a motion for, you said this was 2017, okay. I'll set a motion to approve ordinance 2026-017. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Ansua.
Just making
Do you have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor, state aye.
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 Chair votes aye. That is also unanimous.
Done.
All right. Do we have any other business? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
All right, we are
Third,
adjourned.
fourth.
Jumping at the.
Oh, that is very.
Likewise, what fun.
That was super interesting to me. Like, should this
Yeah, you know, honestly, but I'll get back to you if I have to change my advice, but that's, I think it makes sense.
No, it absolutely makes sense, but I had always thought of staff in the advisory capacity. And I was like,
I tell you, I never thought about it either until just now, so, but yeah, sounds right?
No, it does.
Yeah.
It does. No, I'm not questioning it. I was just like,
No,
it was
I'm
just
actually
like.
gonna look into it because, you know,
I just always thought, advisory like.
we're on the same team and, you
Yeah,
know, but when it comes to an evidentiary hearing, now, I mean, there's gonna be things like contracts, like in council meeting, you don't have to disclose anything about that, but now I've gotta rethink how I advise the city council, so.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you want to try it on?
Heaven forbid.
So Ginny, this is. Let's say it. Say it with me.
And Sua.
I know, but I always like, because I don't say it all the time, so I didn't want to.
You just got to practice it.
You're fine.
What did you call that again? The podium?
Lectern.
The lectern.
It's not a podium. Look it up. Look it up.